There's a new technique that I want you to try the next time that you feel stuck or the next time that you are in indecision. And it is what I have dubbed the catapult technique. If you watched my YouTube video on Sunday, you will know that we have made a huge decision to leave Palermo, which has been my home now for 2.5 years. And honestly, where I thought I would settle on a more long term basis. But life has played a certain set of cards for us here in Palermo. And whilst I have managed to find myself and kind of feel really settled, my boyfriend has found it a lot more difficult just because the industry in which he works isn't performing very well here in Sicily. And really, the majority of his work is in mainland Italy. And so we took the decision to leave Palermo in order to give us more security and stability. But in doing so, it means that we are actually returning back to the province of Salerno, which is where my whole southern Italian journey began. And this is where I kind of gleaned this concept of being a catapult from, because it could be seen that we are going backwards. And this is something that I don't enjoy doing. I am definitely somebody in life who likes to go forward, to make forward progression, and to constantly be evolving. And sometimes if you go backwards, you go back with kind of nostalgia and memories of how things once were, only to be met with disappointment because, of course, people, life, situations, they all change over time. But where I feel this is different and where I feel this kind of concept of a catapult comes from is that this time we are going backwards in order to propel ourselves forward in the same way that a catapult works. You pull it back in order to launch it forward. And that's exactly how I feel. And it's kind of a concept that I'm starting to realize can really help people to evolve in life because I do think sometimes people are so scared of change. I've spoken about this in lots of other episodes, both on this podcast and on my YouTube channel, that change paralyzes people to the point where their lives look the same for a very long period of time because they are afraid of what step to take next. But sometimes it means that you have to revisit a part of your life, or you have to do something that perhaps you used to do in the past in order to take you forward into your future. And that's where I think this whole catapult concept can really change things for you. If you're in a place in your life where you feel a bit stuck and you don't really know what step to take next. Now, there are lots of different moments that can cause this kind of paralysis, if you like, when it comes to change. It could be the fact that you don't know what's going to be happening next. You are afraid of any negative consequences. You are in your comfort zone. Let's be honest, when you're in your comfort zone, it feels so wonderful that why on earth would you want to disrupt it? But we all know that in our comfort zone, we basically stagnate. That is not where true life is gleaned from. And so I think this catapult concept can really help you, especially if you're planning to move to Italy and you are in a place where you're not sure if it's the right thing to do, first and foremost, or you're not sure what the next step to take is. Sometimes you need to just go back a little bit, whether it is going back in terms of revisiting some previous actions that you have taken to see if they can help you with your progression, or whether it's just stepping back a little bit and really reflecting on what it is that you want to do and getting really clear on why you want to do it before launching yourself forward into action. Like, this is something that I think can radically change your experience and take you out of the procrastination that so many of us feel when we have a big life decision to make. We have been debating this decision to move back to Salerno since before Christmas. It's been a really difficult decision to make because I feel settled here in Palermo. It's a crazy city and it stresses me out at times, but I do feel settled here. And so for me to think of the whole process of moving, packing things up, starting over again, especially now with Tina, our dog, it really is a lot to take on board. But then I also know that nothing changes if nothing changes. And this is actually one of my mantras for 2025. It's on my vision board for this year, just to remind me that if you continue to do things the same, you're always going to have the same results. You've got to change things up in order to see change in your life. And we need to do this to create a better life for ourselves in the long run. And so this is where I'm really grateful that I can embrace going backwards to go forwards, but also realizing that, we are not going back into an identical life that we once led in Salerno. We're not even going to move back to the same part of Salerno. We are looking at the province, and the province of Salerno is actually quite large, just because the city centre itself is extremely overpriced now. And not only that, I felt like I had outgrown the city centre. So I want to go back and have new experiences. So, we have that as well to think about. But this is it really. Like, this is our next step, the big change that I alluded to in last week's episode. And, I feel it can be the catalyst for something great. And that's what I want to encourage you to think about when you are in the midst of big changes in your life. Can you go backwards to go forwards? Is there something that you need to revisit, rethink about, reflect on in order to give you the forward momentum to make progress? And I think, if you can really sit with that and give yourself an honest answer, I do believe that it might help you to gain traction more so than just trying to push forward on your own. I will see you in the next episode.